if we were standing around the LGBTQ plus water cooler, this is what we may all be talking about this week. It's sponsored by Hot Topic. Hot Topic is an American retail chain with nearly 700 locations specializing in counterculture-related clothing and accessories, as well as licensed music. Hot Topic represents many varied interests of the LGBTQ plus community, including music, movies, graphic artists, gaming, and more. Hot Topic features one of the largest collections of Pride merchandise that celebrates all aspects of the LGBTQ plus community. Hot Topic is a major supporter of the diversity of our community and supports many of our events, festivals, and nonprofit LGBTQ organizations. Very notable is their support of the Trevor Project, the LGBTQ plus community's most important voice for LGBTQ plus young people. And that's why they are sponsor of its Happening Out's Hot Topic. Here we go. Romance is still in style, well, at least for Canadians. 81% of adults in Canada in a relationship say that romantic exclusivity is ideal. And 70% said that sexual exclusivity was ideal, meaning one chosen partner. More than 4,000 Canadians took a survey that was part of the Mapping Contemporary Love and Intimacy Ideals in Canada's project based at the University of Quebec in Montreal. The study found that attitudes dropped dramatically, however, among LGBT adults, with 55% considering romantic exclusivity as ideal, and just 36% considered sexual exclusivity as ideal. Finally, the study found, you ready? Women's Month?
Ready. Lesbians
were far more likely than gay men to want romantic exclusivity. Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Our hot topic of the week. Do we want romantic exclusivity? Canadians say yes.
Only ugly people want sexual exclusivity. That is the truth. I'm not even lying. Come on, am I lying seriously? If I put the camera the other way, it's the truth.
You know what it is? It's
what?
Cold. It is cold in Canada. That is the reason why. So they want to be together.
We're going to hate on the Canadians.
Yeah.
Is that what we're going to do?
No, we're not going to hate it.
Why did they look like they were from Damo Rush? What was that about?
Why are we twins? I love a Canadian. I don't know why every Canadian
What he really is saying, he wants to love a Canadian.
Okay. Well, yeah. I mean, at least when you see them on, Chatterbait and OnlyFans or something, I don't know. Canadians, there's something about a Canadian that I really like. I don't know what it is.
They do it for you.
But yeah, and they're nice. They're like really nice people. No, I hate the accent. But they're super nice people. And I just feel like their values I noticed this with my Canadian family as well. And I think that has something to do with maybe the monogamy part of it, is that maybe they're a little bit more monogamous, but the gay
and because of that, they're nicer, happier because.
Yeah, I do think that maybe if
it's less stressful or something.
I don't know. Maybe I'm going to be stepping in it now, but like
you're going to be stepping.
Get used to it because you've been stepping in it all.
You're used to that because you live in Homestead. You have to step in and even get out of the city.
I think maybe that there is a little something to people who are just, maybe they fall in love a little bit deeper and they're just like, I don't really need to have all of the extra sexual stuff out. I'm a little bit more completed that way.
Let's assume that there's some reasonableness of a thinking pattern there, which I can't quite identify.
I know I can't.
But let's assume, even if that was true, LGBT Canadians, it's not quite half as many, but approaching half feel the same way about a romantic.
So I think, I would share
exclusivity.
In my youth, I was definitely a serial monogamy. Monogamy was great. I think as I get a little older now, I'm more leaning to that romantic.
You were with a man or a woman?
I'm pansexual.
But in this idea.
In this idea, well, today it'll probably be a man.
Yeah.
But
at that time, when you were romantically exclusive, was it with a man or a woman?
Oh, so I have been romantically exclusive with both.
Oh, okay.
Yes, with both, very much. Almost married a woman, thought I was going to marry a guy, shit went left. But then I became very much into the whole monogamy lifestyle. learning now, not besides just being cold, but just wanting more for that in-depth, that more day-to-day, that more knowing that someone is always going to be there sounds a little better for me. We're out in this stage of my life. And so I can understand the romantic I thought of that. I walk on the beach with that same person, seeing the same moon and talk about how it looks different today and how we experienced it different versus yesterday. It's a little exciting to me.
You got romantic at your old age.
Oh my gosh, and I'm so surprised about it.
He wants to walk on beaches and shit. Did you hear that?
I want to hold somebody's hand.
Talk about the moon.
And talk about his feelings.
really do.
Are you sure you're not a lesbian?
Can you imagine? But the elimination chamber would still stay up, and they had to be kinky. They have to be kinky.
You know, in the cage match that you and I are always in, you might have just lost. It's like.
Okay, you keep telling yourself that.
That's so
You keep telling yourself.
But listen, I think part of it is that I think that queer people by and large are less beholden to like this really like traditional idea of what a relationship should look like. I mean, obviously because
evangelicals,
you know, but
exactly
also
what's wrong with us.
But I think that we're more
open.
To think outside the box for what a relationship could look like.
You know, we have open relationships, stuff like that. Like most, some heteros do, but many don't.
And experiment to find what works for us. And so if this works for us today, then it's okay. And we're fluid enough to say, you know what, that didn't. I learned from this. Let me try this and be okay with me.
Yeah. I'm curious, Max, for you as identifying in your generational context, in your silo of Gen Z. When you hear this statistical reporting of romantic affiliation or loyalty, romantically, or loyalty in terms of sexuality, how did that wash over you in your thinking, or what you speak for? I know you can't for all, but speak for Gen Z. What would Gen Z think?
I think that this is unsurprising. I mean, we talk about this like big boogeyman and that is hookup culture or whatever, and the ways that like impacts young people, the way that the internet impacts like, the ways that we date, the ways that we engage in relationships has evolved. And so I think that young people, regardless of sexuality, really are much more open to, again, exploring these different formats for what a relationship is.
Listen, young people don't even pay rent. Okay, so what the hell? Like, exclusivity, like things are really expensive. You got to hook up and get a partner because rent's $4,000. You know what I mean? I might not want to have sex with you, but you know what? We're a couple now, bitch.
But, we you know what I mean? You don't cross this line, right? Don't cross this line.
Well, there's always that. And Max, I'm curious in terms of this exclusivity, romantic exclusivity, is it something you think Gen Zers want, or they just reject the idea? I don't want to be romantically exclusive. I don't want to be sexually exclusive.
I don't think it's like a rejection. I think it's an openness, right? A willing to engage in different types of relationships that we might not have seen modeled by our parents or things like that.
Do you want to be romantically exclusive?
I don't know. I think
Max is a hoe. Okay.
Okay, listen. I think that
He's a Hoover, not a hoe. There's a difference. He's a Hoover. Remember, he's a Hoover, not a hoe.
See, I think I used to be much more into the idea of monogamy. I mean,
How old is your ex?
When you were 19?
How old is that older man that you were with, Max?
Listen, I was in a long-term relationship basically nonstop from when I was 13. I started being I was in a relationship.
Look at Elimination's face.
When I was 13, I was in a relationship with someone my age, a girl, and then it was
not a relationship.
And then it was for a year and a half, and then I dated someone who was like significantly older than me when I was 14 going on 15. Dated him for 2.5 years.
It's against the law kind of relationship.
And then immediately jumped into another relationship.
Oh, wow.
And there was not a period where I was single for more than like 2 months from when I was 13 until my ex-boyfriend.
Monogamous through all of those relationship times?
What?
Monogamous through all those relationship times?
Well, in theory.
Which means no.
Okay, all right.
The Hoover says no.
Yeah, okay. No. But all right, so today at 20, do you, and de facto, and speaking for Gen Z, which I know you can't do, so there's no reason to talk about that, do you want romantic exclusivity, sexual exclusivity?
I guess it depends. I think it depends on the person. It depends on whether or not they're ticking all my boxes, or if I can. There's some gaps to fill.
And just on the opportunity of trying to pin you down, which is clearly what I'm trying to do, for romantic exclusivity and sexual exclusivity. Oh wait, that's a bad joke.
Okay, yeah. We're not gonna.
The idea though is you don't know who the partner is, but you have to start from a place of this is what I would like and I'm pursuing. Are you pursuing the idea that you want romantic exclusivity, sexual exclusivity?
I think that I'm open to whatever, right? Like I think that's what it is. I don't necessarily know that I have a preference for either one. I think that if there's someone that I really really like, but that maybe there's someone who's not doesn't live here, right? That I can't see 24/7, or that's not living with me, right? Or there's reasons that our lives don't allow us to satisfy those needs.
His answer is I don't know.
I don't know. Okay, all right, I'll give up on it.
He hasn't met them yet.
Okay.
I will say that I'm also on a journey with this because I started out very traditional, and I've always seen myself as a traditional person, and I'm also a very jealous person, so that would be difficult. But at my age now, I do feel like, I've never judged other people's relationship because most of the gay couples that I know are open, and I've never judged them, and they seem to be happy. So I think there might be something to this, and it's just programming on me that's saying that this is not a possibility. So I am open to, but if I were to date somebody, I immediately say, I'm looking for a monogamous relationship, and then perhaps we would have conversations after that. But.
Like the only reason me and my wife are exclusive is because I'm tired, okay? I effed the world before we got married, and I was like, all right, girl, how big is the ring? Let's go. I mean, okay.
It's very funny that Faye says that because the last thing that I want to the last thing I want to turn to is the representation of the women before we go to Shag, Marry, Chop.
Lesbians get together, get on a couch, and binge watch freaking Stranger Things forever. That's what they do.
It's very funny, and I know y'all know some viewers know. Faye's a big old paper tiger.
What?
She says something like that, but she doesn't mean that at all. She is so passionately in love with Teresa.
Absolutely.
They're married. They are, and so this paper tiger goes, I want to.
Right.
And I'm just tired, and that's the only reason. No, because she wants romantic exclusivity and she wants sexual exclusivity. So I just out her because it's very funny that she says that joke, but she doesn't mean that joke. It's a good joke and it's a funny joke, but it's not really who Faye.
But how many of us would allow if our partner allowed us to do whatever we wanted, but they would be monogamous to us? That would be like ideal.
No. This study demonstrates that it's not a question of the satisfaction of the sexual encounter. It's the desire of wanting to be with one person, whether it be romantic or sexual. The significance of the story is about the intimacy with a person. That's why I call her Paper Tiger, because I know Faye and I know what she's committed to, but it is still a funny joke.
Because that Cuban could work it in bed. That's why. All right.
Okay, it might be great sex.
Roll the clip.
It's more than that.
Roll the clip. Hey, guess what? I got a clip for you.
Roll the clip.
Monday.
Now wait.
Monday's Faye What Show.
Faye thinks we're not getting ready to roll the clip. Production. No. Just one last comment on the lesbian nature of what comes out in this story. Dramatically higher than men. And gay men. In every category, women want this more.
And that is why I always had such a problem with that, okay? Because I would date various women at the same time, and they would all know, okay? I'm not only dating you. This is not exclusive. Oh, no, you could do whatever you want. But then they would all get jealous and crazy and slash my tires, and they knew that they weren't the only one. Most lesbians, yes, U-Haul first date, they want to be together forever. That's why I call one of my best friends a lesbian, because he meets somebody and then he's married. You know what I mean? I'm not that way.
And I think of you as a gay man.
I'm not that way, because I am a gay man. Like, I want to...
Allow me to be good moderator. Who are you
No, I'm not going to say his name. I'm not going to say his name.
Let me start suggesting names and you just
nod. I'm not going to.
Wait,
Blink
my
once
first
if
name
yes,
is going to
blink twice
start
if
with
no.
the letter somewhere late in the alphabet.
Oh my goodness. Stop it. Stop it.
Today.
Okay, all right. All right.
Clueless.
All right. We are at the end of our Hot Topic. Thank you, Hot Topic. All right. LGBTQ plus news is vital for our community and for the broader world as a whole. We have enough enemies at Fox News. Tucker, Sean, and Laura are loud. We need passionate allies. Happening Out Television Network, Queer News Tonight, and It's Happening Out are literally out of the closet and into the headlines. Our community needs your support. Like this broadcast and subscribe now to ensure the growth of the entire LGBTQ plus community.